sitting back like the seats of an 86 Delta 88 coupe on D's and Bows, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Going live in a minute, Blizzard King. This is Winter, Dennis Spurling podcast. You are rocking with the realest black men represented. Ain't no lies, cause we winning. Catching flies, ain't no feelings. Uncle D, we the villain, baby. We just left the village, baby. Now we in them villas, baby. Dennis Spurling podcast, tuning in, we get it, baby. You can hate the player, hate the game. We love all you haters. Hate watch, hate watch. Calling lovely ladies, hands on your knees. You can thank us later. We snatching the crowns off of queens. We obliterate them. Tell the truth, train the devil. They trying to eliminate us. You begging the sipping haters. Peeling layers off potatoes. Whoa. Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Dennis Spurling podcast. Whoa. Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Dennis Spurling podcast. Whoa.
We have to clean up what's going on in our house before we do anything else. My name is Dennis Spurling. I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas. My mandate is to be an advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father. I have black sons. And I want to make sure that the issues confronting black men are defended, protected, enunciated, spoke upon by black men who have a vested interest in the black community. And so my draw to Black Manosphere, or YouTube in general, use my voice, my wisdom, my experience, was solely because black men weren't being heard. But they're hearing us now. They're hearing us as to our issues related to modern relationships, politics, education, finance, and so many other things. And I'm extremely proud of these gentlemen. I'm extremely proud of the people who put this together. It is a wonderful event, and I look forward to attending in the years to come. Hey man, I do what I do. Have pride in yourself. Don't be so hard on yourselves. That's the other thing. Don't let this world keep kicking you and making you feel like you're not good enough. You plenty. I don't care if you're 10 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, 30 pounds underweight. You don't make enough money. You make too much money. You're too tall. You're too short. You're perfect the way you are. And I want you brothers to begin to take that. A lot of you guys did not have father figures to reinforce these things in you. You don't have that manly fatherly love supporting you in the back of your head saying, son, you can go out there. The world is yours. I'm not your fathers, but I love you like I'm your own uncle. We all want people. And so I'm telling you, brothers, I love you as a person that most people would say is successful. I'm telling you, the opportunity is out there. And most of you guys are doing much better than I was at your age. You're more confident. You got the world, you got the benefit of people like me who've made mistakes. And I want to see you ball. That's it. Yeah, man. Welcome to the broadcast, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. This is Uncle D. Somebody type black men winning in the chat room. Somebody type black men winning in the chat room. Let's get some crowd participation. Early room. Shout out to everybody who is in here. It's always good to see y'all up in here, baby. I appreciate the time you spend with me doing what we do. And I just think it's outstanding. Again, my name is Dennis Spurling, also known as Uncle D, the Blizzard King. I want to make sure that you all know that you are greatly appreciated. And I think y'all do, man. So let's get a hand clap for everybody. Where are my winch mob at? Where are all my members at? I see Mark the freelancer in here. Who else we got up in here, man? Good shout out to everybody. And I'm gonna make sure I give a big shout out to the first person who contributes to the super chat. And shout out to everybody who comes through on the Cash App. Well, anyway, as you all see, the title of this broadcast is Black Manosphere Politics Are Now Mainstream. And what we're going to talk about is something that's been bubbling under the surface for years, but it's now front and center in our community and the nation. Black men shift in political alignment. For the first time in over 60 years, we're seeing black men in record numbers gravitate towards Donald Trump and the Republican Party. And now we have to ask ourselves, why is that? Now, we know we may not have articulated that, but we need to understand what is causing this monumental shift. First off, support for the Democrat Party has been declining amongst black men ever since Barack Obama left office. Today, only about 2/3 of black men still align themselves with the Democrat Party, if you believe the polls, and the reasons for this change run deep. It's not just about politics, it's about how we as black men have been treated, marginalized, and dismissed by a party that many of us feel is no longer represents our interests. So you see, what many failed to realize is the black manosphere. Somebody type black manosphere. The black manosphere talking points have expanded beyond just relationships. See, we're now discussing the political issues that directly impact us as men. And let's face it, the rise of feminism, particularly the second and third and fourth wave feminism, has led to to anti-male rhetoric and also anti-black male rhetoric. And that has been destructive for society as a whole. Feminism today isn't about equality. It's about pushing men out of their traditional roles and actually giving women superior rights. Look at our own community. Black men have been emasculated, removed from their rightful position as heads of the household, and it shows. And the black community is in decline, and it's happening right before our eyes. In less than 60 years, we've seen the results of these democratic policies: fatherless homes, broken families, and an entire generation that lacks strong male leaderships. And all of this is policy driven, policies put forth by the Democratic Party. So what are black men doing? We're shifting towards conservative values, gravitating to patriarchal principles, and finding a home in the Republican Party. Oh my God, did I just commit blasphemy by saying that? And this isn't just my observation. It's not. Kevin Samuels made issues mainstream by taking black manosphere talking points and packaging them for the world to see. He highlighted something important. Women with lower sexual marketplace value now have unrealistically high expectations of men, and this dynamic is one of the reasons relationships are failing. Kevin Samuels took those manosphere talking points and pointed out the hypergamous nature of women, and that because they felt that they could always do better because they conflated sleeping with a man actually wanting to marry them, they had these unreal expectations, which led to dissatisfaction, which is why the divorce rate or divorce is initiated up to 70% of the time by women. And he took that, he packaged that, and he took it to the world. Now, it's also the reason why black men are now turning their backs on the system that supports this imbalance. See, we're also pushing back against the rise of this anti-male and, of course, anti-black male social norms. These ultra extreme policies and societal expectations, they've reached a tipping point, and they're heavily influencing the 2024 presidential race. Our message is about empowerment. We're telling Black men to wake up. Somebody type wake up in the chat room. We're telling them to wake up and recognize that the Democratic Party, with its matriarchal structure, isn't working in our favor. It prioritizes women's rights over ours, whether in family courts, education, or finances. The needs of Black men and Black boys are consistently ignored, from, as I said, from a family court that favors women to an education system that leaves our boys behind, and a financial system designed to benefit women. And this is why Black men are stepping away from the Democratic Party. We see these policies as anti-Black male, and it's pushing towards a return to patriarchal values, to a structure where men are leaders again. And as we head into the 2024 election, it's crucial to understand that the impact of these issues on Black men's political alignment are real and they're heavy. And we're looking for solutions that benefit us. And that means voting for those who prioritize our needs as men, as fathers, and as leaders. So we're about to dig into this thing. But the first thing I want to do is I want to share an interview with you all so y'all can believe me.
Of her.
Of course, seeing is believing. This video here, somebody type fair use in the chat room so YouTube knows I'm not trying to use anybody's stuff. Somebody type fair use in the chat room. Okay. And y'all hit the number 1 button. Y'all hit the number 1 button. And we're going to let this thing play. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get it queued up. Hold on 1 minute. All right, here we go. Y'all check this out. Fair use.
Her reach out now because she's, trying to buy votes.
I think it's another sign of desperation. I've been off of Twitter, X, for the last week. I told myself I was going to take the month of October off so I can concentrate on things I need to do. But I snuck back on yesterday, and I did a quick search of the words Black men on her Twitter time.
Now, does anybody know this brother's name? Because I want to be able to call him by his name. Does anybody know this brother's name? If you guys know this name, type his name in the chat room. I'd love to interview him if y'all know him. Okay, I'm sure he is very familiar with the Black Manosphere talking points and the major players from the political side. Okay, so but if you know, his name is Byron Donalds. All right, brother Byron. Somebody said Delano Squares. Let's see if he states his name.
Timeline or X timeline, and it went from yesterday, two posts yesterday, back to 2020.
Fair use.
So it's clear that the only times that she's interested in messaging to Black men are when it's time for an election. And this is not even specific to Kamala Harris. The Democratic Party is a party of matriarchy and post-second wave feminism.
I put the music on to kind of mask it a little bit. He said the Democratic Party, okay, is matriarchal and post-secondary feminism. Let's listen to that again.
Democratic Party is a party of matriarchy and post-second wave feminism.
Where have we heard that before? Where have we heard that before? Okay, keep listening.
They are not a party that knows how to speak to men, largely because it is a party that resents men. And there are no men.
Ooh, did you hear what he just said? The Democratic Party is a party that resents men. Think about what this man is saying. This is straight off the Black Manosphere. Okay, let's keep listening.
Obviously, they have issues with straight white men, unless they're trying to elect them president like Joe Biden. But they have a particular antipathy towards Black men who don't carry the flag in the same way that Black women do. And so what you see Kamala Harris trying to do is address the problem that's clear that she has.
Now, I just want y'all to point out, nobody would ever have said this 10 years ago. This is never a conversation that would have taken place 10 years ago. Where did he get this from? He got it from right here on YouTube. To you men who are bold enough to speak the truth about what you see in your brilliant observations. That's what's going on right now, okay? But let's keep listening to this young man.
With black men and doing black media. And, she had President Barack Obama out in Pittsburgh last week, hectoring and lecturing black men at her campaign site. So this is a problem that the party has. This is a structural problem. This is not a problem about one specific candidate.
This is a structural problem. In other words, this is how the Democrat Party, this is what it runs on. You see, this is how it's built. And so when you start seeing stuff like that, man, coming out, that means this is mainstream. That means they are so comfortable about talking about this behind the scenes. They knew what this guy was going to say, and they invited him on to say it because it's now mainstream politics. Let's keep listening.
A party that upholds the matriarchy and thinks that masculinity is toxic is going to have a problem speaking to men. And what I see, particularly...
A party that upholds the matriarchy is going to have a problem speaking to men. Where have we heard that before? All right.
From her and her surrogates, is that they are deaf to the needs of black men, and this is why they speak in sign language. Shame, insult.
Hold on a minute. What did he say? Sign language? Somebody type sign language in the chat room. Somebody type sign language in the... If you didn't believe before, you believe now. Somebody type sign language in the chat room. Did you hear what this man said? This man is on national TV saying that the Democrat Party speaks in sign language. Let's listen to that again.
Black men, and this is why they speak in sign language. Shame, insults, guilt, and nagging. And that is their primary...
He didn't say the need to be right. He had to change it up a little bit. But somebody type Kevin Samuels in the chat room. Somebody type Kevin Samuels in the chat room. You see what I'm saying? I knew it. Okay? All right? Fam, y'all understand what's happening here? You cannot, maybe before it was on there, well, you know, he just said sign language. That was an invention of BGS Ibmore, who then explained it to Kevin Samuels, who began to use it all the time. You understand what I'm saying? This is how powerful Kevin Samuels has become. This is how powerful the Black Manosphere has come. I'm gonna let the rest of this play out, but now it's affecting politics, okay?
Method of communication when it comes to this specific demographic group.
All right, so are we convinced? Shout out to him. Are we convinced, fam? Are we now convinced that the Black Manosphere's talking points have become mainstream? Are we convinced now? I'm just asking questions. See, this interview, right? And this black male pundit, he provides a sharp critique of Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign, or in the Democratic Party's outreach to black men. And he suggests Harris' recent efforts to engage black men, particularly through the media and his appearance and messaging on platforms like Twitter, are insincere, and they're driven by electoral desperation. He points out that Harris's outreach only seems to occur around election time, which reflects a broader problem with the Democratic Party. Now, the party's alignment, this is where the rubber meets the road. See, the party's alignment with the matriarchy. I ain't heard nobody in any of the universities I've attended refer to what's going on here in the United States, whether it be, from Farrakhan to Malcolm X to John Henry Clark to Dr. Boyce Watkins, none of these people. Nobody talks about the black matriarchy. And here you got this guy right here saying it, and basically it put a stamp of approval on it. It is what it is. See, he understands that the party's alignment, when I say the party, I'm talking about the Democratic Party's alignment with the matriarchy and post-second wave feminism has created a disconnect between the Democrat Party and men, particularly black men. And the brother notes that the party has issues with masculinity. Who's ever voiced that out loud? They have an issue with masculinity, and it portrays masculinity as toxic. and the struggles to communicate, and that's why it struggles to communicate with men in general. The criticism touches on the way the party discusses men with sign language. Somebody type sign language in the chat room. I knew I had to drop everything and talk about this when I saw this. Okay, this came out about a week ago. Shout out to my man there. I said it. The word is out. Black men are no longer mute. Carry on, counselor. Hey man, somebody type black men are winning in the chat room. They have to hear us now. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. He said nagging, okay, which can be, I guess, aligned with the need to be right. But to be more specific, we know what sign language means. And he is asserting that this communication style alienates black men who don't align with the party's current values and priorities. This is a structural issue. Brothers, this is a structural issue. It's not a one candidate, it's a structural issue. He is telling you that it's not just Kamala Harris, whether it's Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, whether we're talking about Barack Obama, and now Kamala Harris. It's a structural problem that the Democrats have because it reflects that party's broader antipathy towards black men who don't conform to its expectations. And the appearance of former President Obama in this recent campaign flub event where he lectured the brothers, somebody typed lectured, Professor Obama lectured us, is cited as an example of the condescending approach that we all believe, right? We believe this dynamic will continue to be the problem for the Democrat Party, which is yet to effectively address and understand the needs and concerns of black men. It's not just him, okay? I want you to listen to these other people. Now, here's another brother.
Trump.
Fair use.
The reason why we'll vote for Trump, Trump is offering more tangibles that...
Did he say tangibles? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The term tangibles is not one that is often used in the American lexicon. Where do we know the term tangibles from? Where do we know the term tangible? Shout out to all the folk who listen to the good brother Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed is always telling them we need tangibles. Do you see the power? And I know brother Tariq Nasheed doesn't claim the black manosphere, but for the most part, we are all lumped in together. So this is letting you know that what we are doing right here on YouTube, what I'm doing, what all these other folk are doing right here on YouTube is now affecting American politics. And let me tell you something, as a citizen of the greatest nation on the planet, the most powerful nation on the planet, the biggest financial engine in the world, what we do matters. So if you have a country which is being affected politically by a few black dudes on the internet who collectively are referred to as the black manosphere, that lets you know we have a lot of power. Somebody type black men are winning in the chat room. Somebody type black men winning in the chat room. They are listening to us. They have to listen to us. We have stood up for generations. We've been talking about standing up. We have stood up. We have showed the world who we are. We have not backed down. And now they got to listen to us. Shout out to everybody who contributed to the super chat, man. Let's finish listening to this brother.
Some or most black Americans think that will benefit our community, such as immigration. The way immigration is running under the Democratic time.
Keep
time
listening.
Right now is hurting our economy. Because we're having millions of people come in, they're reaping the benefits such as Medicaid, Medicare, DHS. They're receiving all these benefits that so many our elders, our retired military that may be homeless. And
now, I'm gonna be honest with you. This brother sounds well educated, well versed. This brother's listening to a whole plethora of different brothers on this internet, and he is letting them have it right now. You understand me? Keep listening.
Regular homeless people, they can't get these benefits, but we're giving it to people who never put into the system. So that's a huge problem for me, and I know.
Ooh-wee, did you hear that? I mean, are y'all listening to what's going on out here on these internet streets? Are y'all hearing what's happening? Are you hearing the effect that the Black Manosphere has? They have to hear us. Shout out to Roman. Thank you so much for the super chat. So, and that's not the end of it. Okay, and we've seen the roast that we've seen black folk roasting Barack Obama and the Democrat Party for trying to punk us into voting for Kamala Harris.
I want Barack Obama and every Democrat out there to know, you do not own black people. We are not slaves. Our chains are gone. We do not owe you anything, and we don't have to give you an account for how we choose to vote.
Let me explain something to you. These sisters would not be on our side had the brothers and the men who participate in these conversations not provided cover. See, I'm gonna tell you something. It was very unpopular for me 2 or 3 years ago to begin saying I'm an advocate for black men. And back in 2017, when I opened up my Facebook page and start allowing black men to voice myself, and how many of you all remember me from Facebook? How many of y'all remember when the Blizzard King was over on Facebook and I opened up my Facebook page and I began to just cut and paste the brothers' gripes and complaints about the way things were? We going on 7 years ago now. People had to hear us. It was unpopular then to be an advocate for black men. It was unpopular to let black men speak. But when black men began to speak, of course, the black women who are having the same experience with this ratchet ghetto culture and would like to be able to say something, but don't want to say anything because they don't want the matriarchy to ostracize them because now they are off code, they felt free to go ahead and speak up. And so that's why you have so many, and now you have black men saying, no, we're not voting for the Democratic Party. And now you have so many black women saying, yeah, I don't like them either. So what I'm trying to explain to you, family, is the minute black men stand up and to begin to speak up for themselves and speak truthfully and speak boldly, that's when you see change happening. See, I'm not a coward. And when I say speak boldly, and I know there's a lot of people on the internet that say a lot of different things, but I show my face, I don't hide my identity because no one respects a coward. It's those men who are out here boldly speaking the truth, who empower other people. Anybody can throw a rock and hide their hand. Anybody can hide behind a black screen on a computer and you can be brilliant. But see, when you show your face, that says a lot more. That's why our ancestors, so many of them were unalived for speaking the truth and speaking boldly. I understand why people are hiding, but I can't respect that. Bottom line is, fam, black men are winning. We've provided cover for black women to speak up on relationship issues. Kevin Samuels did that, sparked a whole conversation that has now just transcended his life. This man is bigger now. This man is worldwide known now. He's more popular now than he was when he passed away. And I expect his popularity to continue. In addition to that, now you see the politics of the black manosphere emerging from YouTube spaces onto the political scene, and it's affecting the most powerful nation in the world. That's what you see happening right now, brothers. All right, that's what you see happening. It's providing cover for black women to speak up. Black men stood up and started speaking up. Black women are now speaking up. I told y'all, remember when I told y'all a long time ago, and I'm gonna get on my high horse again. I told you black women want black men to stand up and elbow their ass out the way. Excuse the language. Black women have been wanting black men to stand up and assert themselves and be men for decades. They want you to stand up, brothers. They want you to speak boldly. They don't want to run behind no man that's cowardly and afraid. They want you to speak up. And I've been telling you, when you start speaking boldly and standing up, and it's not just one of us, it's all of us, or at least it's enough of us to make some noise. They want you to stand up. Don't no woman want no punk ass man who's afraid to speak up for himself. Black women know that black women, black women know that black men have been taking low for them and doing what they say do when they shouldn't have. They want you to stand up. And now some brothers who they call crazy 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, they were calling you incels. Come on, name the names. They would call you all sorts of names. Now they can't call you anything but right. So I want you brothers to take this as a lesson. Begin to speak up, speak boldly. Shout out to all the brothers who was back in the day speaking boldly and clearly and not holding back and letting folk know this is a good day. Clap, clap. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get back to this footage.
Democrats then unleashed Barack Obama into the wild to shame us black men for not supporting Kamala Harris, despite the fact that she's yet to unveil any policies that represent our interests. But if it was a white politician shaming other white men for not voting based on identity politics, y'all will call him racist. Why is it okay for Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, and all these other people that supposedly look like me? Why is it okay for them to get on TV and shame me for not voting for them simply because they look like me? That is racist, brother. Yeah. I don't know how else to put it. That is racism. I don't have to vote for Kamala because she's quote unquote black. Just like I shouldn't have voted for yo because you got up there, you tap dance for the establishment, and you ain't do a goddamn for the black people that put you in office. You, brother. Did
you hear that? See, the mass media no longer controls the public discourse. There was a time when we had only 3 major channels, and if you didn't hear it on there, you didn't hear it at all. So there was no room for dissenting opinions. But so now, since you have the rise of YouTube, this brother can get on TV, get on TikTok, take what he's already heard and say, yeah, I agree with that too. This is identity politics, and that's a stupid reason to vote for somebody because they kind of look like you a little bit. So that means that, okay, so let's take it to its natural end. So does that mean all the light-skinned brothers are only going to vote for light-skinned people? Does that mean all the dark-skinned brothers, how far are we going to take it? Girls with weaves can't vote for girls with natural hair? How weird is that? It makes no sense. Vote your interest. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you say in the chat room, vote your interest. Let's keep listening to what the folk have to say. Here's another sister. She wouldn't be out here saying this if brothers wasn't out there speaking up. Black women want you black men to stand up. The minute you stand up and stop being cowards and stop trying to be the cool black man, the strong, silent type, that's when your women will fall behind you. No one respects a coward, brothers. The main issue that black men and black women have in this country and around the world is that black women have not had a reason to respect black men because you refuse to stand up. And now that you're standing up, you're reaping the reward. We saw with Kevin Samuels. There wasn't no black men telling black women about all these children they having out of wedlock and they too old to be out there trying to get 10s and they like 2s. Kevin Samuels did that. He was the one that changed the discourse. And now you have black men saying what we think is the unpopular truth about the current state of politics, particularly the Democratic Party. And that is what? It is matriarchal. It is anti-black male. And now you see what? Now you're getting support. Y'all keep listening. Somebody hit the #1 button, baby.
You ain't did a thing for us in the 8 years that you was in the White House. And you think you gonna pop up during an election year and try to scold black men for not wanting to vote for your candidate? Have you lost mind?
I spent 7 years of my life fighting your administration, you and Biden, by the way, for my husband's military benefits. My daughter died because of Obamacare. I don't give a about you.
Look. You know it was blasphemy to speak about Black Jesus, Barack Obama, 5 or 6 years ago. You couldn't say nothing about him. But because of the discourse that's been taking place on YouTube, you see what's happening.
This message is for President Obama. First and foremost, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. Number one, I ain't going to vote for Kamala Harris. I think that she's going to make a bad president. She's a bad vice president. Everything she does, she tries to politicize it. And she hasn't shown the fact that she wants to put America first ever. So I'm not voting for that individual.
What you thought you was doing, Barack Obama? Boy, you didn't step out there. All you did was black men off, bruh. All you did was black men off. Why y'all think the American people why y'all think the Democrat Party own black folk? The Democrat Party don't own black folks, bruh. What you thought you was doing with that? We see the play. We know, we see the play. Kamala Harris is losing. She's not going to win.
The audacity of you to say to us that we are required and we better vote for Kamala Harris and that we don't want to see a woman in a position of power. You're a liar.
Now, that little rant inspired some.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, man. Shout out to all you brothers who are speaking and who have been doing this for a minute, man. Shout out to everybody exercising your voices. So, again, you heard the pundit and you heard all these people talk about their critiques of the Democratic Party and how it's matriarchal. And of course, you know, the Black Manosphere is always criticizing the Democratic Party for promoting policies and social structures that are seen as matriarchal and detrimental to men, especially Black men. Okay? Welfare, food stamps, affirmative action, which basically promotes Black women over Black men. We talk about post-second wave feminism, and we talk about how the family law system and these political structures favor men favor women over men. We always talking about this concept of toxic masculinity, which basically is just a strong opposition to masculinity. That's what it is. Basically, they've demonized all masculinity. They're hostile, they marginalize men. And of course, you know they're talking about Kevin. Somebody typed Kevin Samuels in the chat room. This man got on national TV and said, sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. He said nagging, but we know what he meant. And sign language is a method of communicating, as a method of communication was made popular by Kevin Samuels. And he basically, this gentleman took that and said the Democratic Party and its surrogates communicate with Black men through shame, insults, guilt, and nagging, or the need to be right. And that echoes that framework. And the Manosphere always is arguing that women, and by extension, these political figures, use these tactics to belittle and manipulate men into compliance, rather than engaging with our concerns in a meaningful way. Oh, you're just doing that because you're sexist. Oh, you just don't want to see a woman be the president. What are you talking about? Why are you trying to shame me? You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying, fam, is the Black Manosphere has gone mainstream. And then on top of that, some of the other issues, the alienation of Black men. The core idea of the Black Manosphere is that Black men are increasingly alienated by mainstream institutions and political parties, whether it be church, whether it be education system, university. And it happens because of the prioritization of women's superior rights and these feminist ideologies. It's not that women just want equal rights anymore. At this point, they want superior rights, okay? And people like Kamala Harris are deaf to the needs of Black men, and they're only reaching out at the last minute during this election cycle because she needs us. You see? You understand what I'm saying? I know y'all do, man. And this is why the Black brothers, that's why brothers are turning away from the Democrat Party. And the Manosphere has long promoted the idea that Black men are starting to reject these matriarchal society driven policies coming out of the Democrat Party because they no longer align with our interests. You understand? And the young man, the pundit, when he commented, he said, we don't need Barack Obama lecturing us and telling us what to do. We're not children. And this is we're men, aren't we? I think there's a YouTuber that says that we're men, and we men, ain't we? You see, and that's another thing. So here's the thing, fam. There's reasons why Black men are disillusioned with the Democrat Party. And this is why you have the rise of the Black Manosphere, which is reshaping these voting trends. These shifts about Black men headed towards the Republican Party is phenomenal. We are voting Republican at this point in numbers that have not been seen in the past 60 years. Traditionally, Black voters have been reliable a reliable base for the Democrat Party, and with very strong support going all the way back to the civil rights. However, over the past several years, and particularly since the end of Barack Obama's presidency in 2016, there's been a downward trend. Somebody type 2016 in the chat room. Somebody type 2016 in the chat room. What do we know was going on in 2016? Somebody type Sandman, MGTOW. Somebody type BGS Ibmore. Somebody type Obsidian in the chat room. That's what was going on. That's when the rise of the Black Manosphere started happening. That was only 8 years ago. Okay? Today, only about 2/3 of Black men still align with the Democrat Party. And that's a notable decrease that reflects a deeper societal political shift. Okay? And the shift isn't random. The departure of Barack Obama from the political stage marked a turning point for many Black men. Obama represented a unique moment in U.S. history. He was the first Black candidate or first Black president, and many Black voters relied, we just rallied behind him. But after his presidency, many Black men felt that the Democrat Party failed to address our specific concerns, particularly around economic empowerment, family structure, and the impact of feminist policies on men in general, Black men in specific. And this disillusionment coincided with the rise of the Black Manosphere. And for you all who don't know what that is, basically, and I'm gonna say it again, the Black Manosphere is a loose configuration, it's a digital space where Black men gather to discuss issues that directly affect us. And while the Black Manosphere started with discussions about relationships, over time it's evolved to address a broader spectrum of topics, including politics, economics, and societal dynamics. And as these discussions have grown, so has the realization amongst Black men that their needs and concerns, our needs, those as fatherhood, masculinity, economic mobility, and legal system bias are often ignored by the Democrat Party. And many in the Black Manosphere argue that the Democrat Party has become too focused on feminist policies and caters to women, particularly Black women, to the detriment of Black men. And this has led to a growing feeling of disenfranchisement that exists amongst Black men who feel that the roles in family and society are being undermined. So in the context of the Republican Party, they place emphasis on traditional values, personal responsibility, and a return to patriarchal structures. And that has an appeal to some Black men. Donald Trump in particular has positioned himself as one who will shake things up, okay? And he appeals directly to the frustrations of men in general and Black men in particular who feel sidelined by the current societal trends. Trump is a populist, he's a nationalist, and that rhetoric coupled with the Republican Party stance on economic freedom, law and order, and anti-establishment policies, it resonates with Black men who feel left behind by the Democrat Party. See, the rise of the Black Manosphere talking points into the mainstream, it further solidifies this trend. The ideas that once circulated within this niche online space, these critiques of feminism, these discussions about family court bias and the importance of male empowerment are now influencing a broader political discourse. And as a result, Black men are increasingly turning to political alternatives, okay? And what does that mean? We're more aligned, things that are more aligned with our values and our concerns. And this has led to some unexpected but very significant shifts in voting behavior. And this change marks a pivotal moment in American politics. And as the Black male vote is no longer guaranteed for the Democratic Party, both political parties are being forced to reevaluate these strategies toward this very key demographic. Now, what I'm going to do is show you something that this was from this morning. Check this out.
Barbershop.
I want y'all to listen. This was on this is some barbershop talk. Okay, I want y'all to check this out, and you'll hear listen to what the brothers are saying. Somebody type fair use in the chat room. Y'all check out these brothers.
Talk series to see what real Americans have to say.
Let's take a look.
As I always say, the barbershop is the center of everything in the community in Black America. So we start in Detroit, Michigan to figure out what the people are saying on the ground. Let's go.
Shout out to the D. Shout out to Detroit. Now you gotta understand something. Kamala Harris thought it was a good idea to go to Detroit with Charlemagne, the dude from the Breakfast Club. I don't even think he's from Detroit. I thought he was from South Carolina. But anyway, she went up there. And so that's why eyes are on Detroit right now. But the brother went in the barbershop. I want you to listen to this conversation.
If the
These brothers are
held
openly speaking about voting for Republicans. That's not even the conversation you would dare have 5-6 years ago. You couldn't even get to the cook. If you even thought about going to the cookout and talking about voting Republican, you would get put out of the cookout, even if you brought the meat and the damn paper plates. Keep listening.
Today, who would win the election?
Kamala Harris. I think it's a coin flip at this time. I really do.
I think the country is so divided, you wouldn't have numbers like you have if the country weren't divided between the two candidates. It's pretty much 50-50.
I'm still in between myself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decisions have to be made. Me being an entrepreneur and a father and a grandfather, I'm looking at what state my children will be in 10 years from now.
At the end of the day, I'm Trump because my eyes open. I can see that he was doing a lot better than what we're going through right now. You can't.
All right, did y'all hear that? Let me run that back to y'all. I want to make sure y'all, I think that disappeared. Let me get that back up. Y'all hit the number 1 button.
The election.
I think it's a coin flip at this time. I really do.
I think the country is so divided, you wouldn't have numbers like you have if the country weren't divided between the two candidates. It's pretty much 50-50.
I'm still in between myself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decisions have to be made. Me being an entrepreneur and a father and a grandfather.
Detroit for our exclusive.
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulty I got another video I'm trying to get geared up. But basically that was some brothers in the barbershop. There's this one little part after it gets going real good.
I think my children will be in 10 years from now.
At the end of the day, I'm Trump because my eyes open. I can see that he was doing a lot better than what we're going through right now. You can't even go to the grocery stores right now without making a life decision on what you want to get. You know, you gotta compromise. We don't have to go through that 4 years ago.
You know, just being able to just live on a day-to-day basis, it has become a little harder at this point in time.
It's really hard to put our economic condition now on any particular administration.
In regards to the economy, I do think that Trump have some benefits as far as keeping our jobs right here, right here in this country, not sending another job overseas. We're already going through enough crisis right here in our country. And I think the working class, we need more job security right here in this country.
Who thinks immigration-wise, Kamala Harris is better?
I don't have enough information about that question.
That's fair. Who thinks Donald Trump would be better for the border?
Let's face it, individuals are coming into our country, not just illegal, but they're criminals.
The third issue is crime. Who do y'all feel like is the best candidate to handle crime in America?
Kamala Harris absolutely would be the best. We have forgotten. The memory is so short right now. Was it not Vice President Harris who supported what?
You hear what he's saying? I want y'all to keep listening. These brothers,
Donald Trump than any other Republican.
I just want you to understand something. These brothers, you close your eyes and had them speaking through a computer that filtered away the ebonics, you would think you were in a room full of white men. The brothers talk about immigration. They talk, look, feel good politics, racial politics, all of that out the window. They're talking about money. Somebody type money in the chat room. This is where the brothers at. So we realize that this is what is important to us. Once you strip this matriarchal hold that that the Democrats and black women have over black men, or certain sector of black women have over black men align themselves with the needs and desires of the rest of the men. The reason that most men are now gravitating towards the Republican Party is because the Republican Party holds the interests of men. We are literally seeing politics be divided on gender lines. Men are going Republican, women are going Democrat. More importantly, women who are aligned with men, married women, women who have women who are entrepreneurs, they often are also aligned with men in the Republican Party. It's a very significant change, but let's keep listening to this.
Ever. So why is that? What is leading toward more support for him versus any other Republican?
My brother is a firm Donald Trump supporter.
There you go.
And some things that he always says to me is that some of his principles, as far as abortion, as far as same-sex marriage, as far as those things, those are a lot of the sticking points that draw a lot of our black men.
Sometimes us as brothers, black brothers, we feel like the other is better.
I want you to listen to this old player right here. Now, somebody type old player in the chat room. Y'all listen to this old player. This old player who look like he about 70 something. He coming out of nowhere, left field. Listen, he harkens back. He gonna take us back to slavery. Okay, he gonna keep listening.
We would. That's that. To me, that's that slavery mentality. That master is better.
Now, here's the ironic thing about his statement. I'm gonna let y'all hear it in total, in full. Listen to him.
Black brothers, we feel like the other is better than we are. We would. That's that. To me, that's that slavery mentality. That master is better, and that we want to.
Well, hold on, Bishop. Are you saying that
they cut it? You hear him groaning in the background? Get your old butt up out of here. Now, the irony of that statement is this: there's only one presidential candidate who, when we track his history and we track his family history, did not come from a genealogy of people who had slaves. There's only one. Who is that candidate? I'll give you a hint. It's not Barack Obama, who, through his mother's side, his white mother, his family had slaves. So literally, Barack Obama is descended from white slave owners on his white side. Kamala Harris and her family of Irish, Indian enslavers down in Jamaica had over 1,000 slaves in Brownstown, Jamaica. So neither Barack Obama nor Kamala Harris come from the lineage of Donald Trump, the only president who has never had, who's not related to any slave, not descended from slave owners. I find that ironic, considering that especially this old brother is talking about we align with the slave. We want, basically he's harkening back to what master, I would say master teacher, but the good brother Malcolm X said, and then we always see the white man, we align the field Negro and the house Negro, and our house is on fire. You guys know that parable. But I just find that interesting. They cut him off real quick.
the brothers that
I come from a different generation.
I understand that.
This old player comes from a different generation. In other words, sir, we've changed. Okay, we different now. That's what they're telling him, old player.
Are you saying that the brothers that subscribe to Donald Trump, that feel like he would be better, have a slave mentality?
Many of us do still have a slavery mentality.
He didn't answer the question. You saying these brothers who are saying, I'm interested in the economy, keeping these damn immigrants up out of here. I want some jobs. I want my gas to be lower. I want my food to be, you disregarding all of that, right? And he said, oh no, they got a slave mentality. Look at the logic. Look at the lack of logic in that. Anyway, so, again, brothers, but the most important thing I want to share with you all is this. This has been an ongoing trend. I got another video. I got plenty of videos today. Listen to what this sister has to say. Y'all know her, big bottoms, from Atlanta. Let me know if you can hear.
In the middle of that interview, and this is what we found in the second line. Right now, according to our numbers,
I want y'all to look at that. Choice for president voting. 44% of white voters. You see what I'm saying? 67% of black voters. 29% of black people support Donald Trump. That's damn near third. That is outrageous. Do you hear me? It's only 67% of black. Look, they're going to let them talk. Let them tell it. Go ahead.
Kamala Harris is only getting 67% of the black vote. Now, contrast that to Joe Biden and Barack Obama. They're well over 90% of the Democratic vote there. Why is that number so soft?
Listen, in a few weeks.
Listen, anytime somebody starts off with listen instead of answering the damn question, that means that they don't have an answer. Why is it that Kamala Harris, who's supposed to be black, somebody type supposed to be in the chat room. Let's go ahead and get down. Somebody type supposed to be. Why is supposed to be black Kamala Harris is only getting 67% of the black vote? How did that even happen? How did that even happen? Okay? How did that happen? That's what, let's see what Miss Bottoms has to say.
Weeks when I gather my family for Thanksgiving, there'll probably be close to 100 of us, and I can tell you.
You want to talk about Thanksgiving? That ain't the question, ma'am.
Different opinions in the room. At least we are not a monolith, and it really speaks to the need for each candidate, no matter what your party affiliation, to speak to people, to speak to their concerns, and that includes the African American community.
She ain't answered the question yet. Why is it that 30% of black people are now voting for Donald Trump, this big boogeyman? Why is it? Maybe it's that we don't give a damn about how many women he grabbed by the bottom parts. We don't care how many felonies you put on him. We don't care about, how many times you sue him. We don't care. All we care about is the bottom line. How is his party going to affect me and my pocket and my ability to take care of my family? We have become issues oriented as far as voting. Shout out to all the brothers. Somebody hit the number 1 button. Shout out, somebody type black men winning in the chat room. Keep listening.
There are a lot of things that people are concerned about, not just in the African American community, not just Democrats.
She still ain't answered the question. Keep going.
Not just Republicans, but the Vice President has made it very clear she's not taking anyone for granted.
She has been taking us granted. She said, come on, y'all. She said, you can't expect me to do anything just for black people. Let me put my nose again. You can't expect me to just do anything for black people. How can I just do something for black people? You remember that when she said that? Everybody put your nose together like that. You can't expect me to just do anything for black people. How can I just do things for black people? That came back and bit in the little ass. Shout out to the Sarah. Shout out to Sarah Kamala Harris. That bitch in your ass, Sarah. You shouldn't have said that. You was in violation. Let's keep listening.
She's going to continue to speak directly to these issues that impact our communities, and she is going to continue to work to earn votes. So we'll see how
she's going to continue to work. Now that she have to, she's going to continue to work to earn the black male vote. She's going to have to continue. And I'm going to make some turkey and have 100 people. You didn't say nothing.
Shakes out. That's not what I'm picking up on. But I do think that people want to know where candidates stand, and that's the beauty of a democracy. People make decisions about who is better suited to represent them. In this case, I obviously believe that it's the vice president.
Did she answer the damn question? Why all these black people voting for Donald Trump, ma'am? Why? Somebody type, why, ma'am? Why? Why all Keisha Big Bottoms? I bet she was fine back in the day. Why all these black people voting for Donald Trump? You didn't answer the question. We have questions that you didn't answer.
President of the United States.
Keisha, you're gonna have to tell me at some point.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me something about how that happened. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. Y'all hit the number 1 button. I got, let me see here. I have exactly 12 super chats. 12 is not enough. We need more disciples than that. I like 20, and that'll be plenty. We'll be right back. Y'all hit the number 1 button. This is Uncle D, man. I'm having too much fun up here. I really got to calm down. I don't want to run my blood pressure up. Y'all hit the number 1 button, fam. We'll be right back, man. Make sure you hang in there for a minute. I got some more for you, man. It's about to get hot. Yeah. My name is Dennis Spurling. I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas. My mandate is to be an advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father. I have black sons. And I want to make sure that the issues confronting black men are defended, protected, enunciated, spoke upon by black men who have a vested interest in the black community. And so my draw to Black Manosphere, or YouTube in general, to use my voice, my wisdom, my experience, was solely because black men weren't being heard. But they're hearing us now. They're hearing us as to our issues related to modern relationships, politics, education, finance, and so many other things. And I'm extremely proud of these gentlemen. I'm extremely proud of the people who put this together. It is a wonderful event, and I look forward to attending in the years to come. Hey man, I do what I do.
That did vote for Trump. So let me get this straight. If I vote for a party that can't define what a woman is, I'm no longer ridiculous or crazy. If I vote for a party that wants boys in my daughter's sports and restrooms, I'm no longer ridiculous or crazy. If I vote for a party that thinks they can pander to me using kente cloths and hot sauce, I'm no longer crazy. If I vote for a party that has done nothing but destroy my community for the last 60 years and open the borders in order to replace my vote and destroy my community further, I'm no longer crazy. If I vote for the party that wanted to keep me from voting, wanted to keep Jim Crow, wanted to keep slavery, the party of the Klan, I'm no longer crazy. And I'm no longer crazy or ridiculous if I vote for the candidate who's been in the office as vice president for the last 3.5 years and admitted to having a large part in pushing the harmful policies that have hurt my country, who can't answer basic questions and is quite possibly the worst candidate in American history, says she's going to bring change while at the same time admitting there's nothing she'd change about the last 3.5 years and made us the laughing stock of the world. And you think I'm the crazy one. I think it's crazy you think I should vote for a candidate based on skin color rather than how their policies will affect my life. It's pretty sick. We've got to...
Damn, you just smoked up, boy. This is what black men are talking about. Somebody type black men winning in the chat room. So here's the thing, the evolution of feminism from second wave, because I gotta explain, and I want to explain, I feel compelled to explain to you all why black men are turning to the conservative party, or why they're voting conservative value. Because remember, the conservative party, they full of racists. That's what they tell you. They're a bunch of racists over there. So what is it? How dare they? Right? Somebody said, how dare you all vote for a bunch of racists? How dare? That's what they said. They can't understand. We was able to scare them. We were just telling them Donald Trump is the threat to the world. You know what I'm saying? This man damn near 80 years old. How much? I mean, let's just keep it one. He's gonna stay in office forever. You know he's 80. You know that, right? I'm just doing the numbers here. He like 80, and I know he get around real good. I don't know how that dude stays up and does all those broadcasts at night like that. 80 years old. But bottom line is we just need him to go ahead and do what he got to do before he ease on up out of here. But what I'm saying is clearly the man's not going to be in power forever because the man is 80 years old almost. All right. Nevertheless, it's important for me to try to help you all understand, or help us understand, what we think and why we as black men are turning to this conservative party that they've tried to scare us out of supporting. And see, the thing is, and let's go with the Manosphere. Shout out to everybody. We got 13 super chats. I need 7 more, and we'll be ready to go. So the evolution of feminism from second wave through the third and the fourth wave has had a profound impact on societal structures. While early feminist movements, they sought equality and justice for women, in recent decades, feminism has increasingly been associated with anti-male rhetoric. You got women saying, unalive all the men. You see what I'm saying? You got them saying, we don't need men. We built this country. And see, this narrative has reached a point where many argue it's damaging the very fabric of society. policies and ideologies stemming from these feminist waves, they've marginalized men and questioned the value of traditional masculine roles. Feminists, or should I say the extremists in particular, push the idea that men should be held accountable for historical injustices against women, demanding not only equality, but compensation for perceived transgressions throughout history. And this has led to a culture where men are demonized simply for existing within traditional gender roles. Somebody typed man spreading. Y'all remember when they outlawed men sitting with their legs open on the bus? This is how bad it was back in 2015 when you had the rise of the manosphere and the black manosphere. This is the direction they went. They were trying to shame men for not wanting to date big girls. Just think about that. Just think, this was horrible. But anyway, as a result, men, particularly black men, shout out to Mr. Wright, shout out to everybody who contributed to the Cash App, man. I'm gonna give y'all some love in it. But black men, we've grown increasingly delusioned and disengaged from society's major institutions: church, university, politics, education, even the family unit. That's why you only have 46% of black men who aren't married and don't have children. Shout out to Ivy Dreams. Always good to see you in here, my little AKA Star Rock. Not all the AKAs are supporting Kamala Harris. I'm just keeping, I guess y'all can kind of figure a little something out. I hear a lot of rhetoric about the so-called Divine Nine. I'm just keeping 100 with you. I call it the Great Eight because it's some of them little fraternities they just popped up. I'm older than they are. I'm like, I can't support your little fraternity, man. But anyway, but I'm just kidding. But anyway, bottom line is, just because you are in a fraternity or sorority does not necessarily mean you step lockstep with the policies and so on of people just because they happen to be in that fraternity or sorority. Nevertheless, somebody says, shout out to my man Slim Shady. He's down my iota. Man, I feel bad for you, man. That's terrible, little UPS fraternity. Praise God. Let me leave you alone, man. I thought y'all was a band fraternity when I first when you flew that. Let me stop. Let me cut it out. Anyway, so let me get back to what I'm saying. So bottom line is, men are falling away from these institutions. You know, and these are the same institutions that men built and maintained. These institutions now feel, and we feel pushed out and unappreciated, and that's why you have this withdrawal. Okay, and these vital roles. When you got men withdrawn from the vital roles that they participate in maintaining these institutions and building these institutions, what's going to happen is you're going to have a larger societal collapse. When men who are responsible for maintaining the very foundations of a nation stop participating, the consequences are dire. The nation itself begins to crumble. This collapse is most visible and seen in the black community right now, where men have been systematically emasculated, removed from leadership in the family, pushed to the margins of society. And it's been done over the past 60 years under Democrat policies. We always harken back to slavery. It's been the past 60 years. Kevin used to harping on this all the time. We were the most married group of people fresh out of slavery all the way up into 1955 until these Democratic policies kicked in. They've had a devastating effect on the black communities. It was intentional divide and conquer. We always talk about systematic racism. How about systematic neglect? How about intentionally trying to divide the black community? That's what Democrats did. And that's why right now, we have such a societal and economic breakdown, family disintegration, cultural erosion. And so in response to this societal shift, black men are increasingly gravitating towards conservative values. The Republican Party, which it's with its emphasis on tradition and personal responsibility and the return to patriarchal structures and some of this anti-rainbow stuff, it offers an alternative that resonates with many men who feel disenfranchised by feminism and these liberal politics. Somebody type, just say no to woke in the chat room. Somebody type, just say no to woke in the chat room. And so for men, the conservative movement represents a return to order, stability, and masculine leadership, values that we believe are crucial for rebuilding society. By reclaiming these patriarchal roles, Black men are seeking to restore balance within their families and communities, which we feel and we know has been disrupted by decades of these policies by the Democrats. So this shift to conservatism is not just about politics, it's about survival. Shout out to my man, Animal Advocate. Welcome as a new member. Look, the disenfranchisement of men, particularly Black men, has created an existential crisis for both individuals and for society at large. By aligning with conservative principles, Black men are attempting to reclaim our place as leaders and to rebuild these social institutions that have been weakened by the erosion of traditional gender roles. And in our eyes, and I think we all seeing clearly, what we see as a change in the direction of politics is a cure for society, a society that has become sick with anti-male rhetoric. Now, the good brother Kevin Samuels, I want to talk to y'all about something. I think the first person I heard bring up Black manosphere politics was BGS Ibmore. Somebody type BGS in the chat room. Somebody type BGS in the, oh, she said Animal Advocate. Sorry, Mr. Brother, I'm a woman. Well, all right then, baby. All right then. Shout out to you. Yeah, I'm going to give you a little hand clap. Welcome to the membership. But look, the first person I heard talking about Black manosphere politics, it was an off-the-cuff comment that BGS Ibmore made around 2015, 2016. And he said, wait till the politics. Somebody type BGS in the chat room. Somebody type BGS Ibmore in the chat room. Y'all go over to his page and tell him Uncle D say what's up. Y'all put a link to this on his page because he needs to be given his flowers. This man, 9 years ago, I know who he is. Y'all don't know who he is. He and I have actually communicated. Shout out to the West Side, man. I got much love for BGS Ibmore. He old school with it. You know what I'm saying? Old school. He was part of that group of people that my mom and my family members would hang out with, you know, back in LA, back in the day. But anyway, tell him I said Lamert Park, study sessions. Anyway, so he said, wait till they get hold of the politics. And that stuck with me. That stuck with me like, damn. That's brilliant. One of the most brilliant men I've ever heard speak, BGS Ibmore. Brilliant. Brilliant. Same thing with him and Obsidian. Brilliant men. Brilliant thinkers, thought leaders. You see? But the bottom line is he said, wait till the politics emerge. This was 9 years ago. And here we are. Okay? Now, I'm going to draw a line between what Kevin Samuels did and the rise of these relationship, Black manosphere relationship talking points with that. So let me tell a story, okay? One that you all know already. Kevin Samuels became prominent because he tapped into the growing urgent issue, and that was the collapse of traditional relationships in Western countries. See, he was as popular here in America, but he was also popular in the UK. He was popular in Australia. He was popular in all the Western countries where they speak English. And see, what Kevin did was he took these same manosphere relationship talking points. He repackaged them. Kevin never claimed all of that stuff was his. He repackaged them. Remember, Kevin was a salesperson. A really good salesperson, from what I understand. He repackaged these Black manosphere relationship talking points, and he brought them to the mainstream in a package that was palatable. Okay, he dressed the part. He had the little music playing. He was very Afro-futuristic with what he did. All these, you know, he would go off the cuff and talk about these different fragrances and so on and so forth. You know, Kevin had about 3,000 different bottles of fragrances in his apartment. His daughter and his best friend told me when they went down to his spot in Atlanta to clean up, he had 3,000 bottles of fragrances. My God, right? And so he was really into that, you know, and on top of that, people were sending him stuff because he was promoting it. So Kevin was getting money hand over fist. But the bottom line is what he brought to it resonated with a broad audience that had been yearning for candid, honest discussions about the failures of modern relationships, particularly within the Black community. And his direct and often controversial approach spoke to the frustrations shared by men, especially those who felt marginalized or overlooked in conversations about dating, marriage, and gender dynamics. Just because they're not on the internet doesn't mean they're not experiencing the same thing. The internet is the YouTube, the manosphere, the Black manosphere is just the pussy pimple where it's erupting to the surface. Beneath there is the sickness, and everybody is feeling it. So Samuel's popularity surged because he addressed a critical societal need, the need to confront these unrealistic expectations that women had developed in the dating market. One of these key arguments centered around the concept of sexual marketplace value, that's SMV, and which posits both men and women and the value based on attractiveness, age, and other factors that influence desirability in relationships. Okay, basically Kevin said, this is your sexual marketplace value, and what's your dress size, how old are you, how would you rate your looks, your beauty on a scale of 1 to 10 without using 7? And for them, when you lay it out like that, okay, I'm average at best. Somebody type average at best in the chat room. Kevin pointed out to women that women with lower sexual marketplace, often due to factors like age, weight, economic instability, children, that they had a whole bunch of unrealistic expectations for the kinds of men they believe they deserve, particularly in terms of finance. You want a high value man, but you are 3 or 4, you average at best. And there's nothing wrong with being average. There's nothing wrong with being average in appearance. Hell, it's nothing wrong with that. You see? But when you have a bunch of average and below average women of all races, okay, who want the man with the highest financial status, the best appearance, who has social influence and power, that means that there's a disconnect. And this was contributing to the widespread failures of relationships. This is not something that was unknown to the Black manosphere and the manosphere law. We knew this. All that happened was Kevin framed it, okay? And that basically many of these women who are seeking high value men without acknowledging their own standing in the relationship market, he said, you are off, you got these unrealistic expectations. And so he argued that a large part of the problem was the feminist message, which often encouraged women to demand more from men regardless of their own value or what they bring to the relationship. This empowerment narrative had resulted in a significant mismatch between what women expected and what they could realistically attain. All right. In other words, girl, don't lower your standards, girl. You better lower your standards or you're going to die alone. That's basically what Kevin said. Don't you want to get married? You want to get married? Well, you're aiming too high. You a damn 2 and you want a 10. Go find your 2. You understand? Kevin basically highlighted how these inflated expectations led to disappointment, resentment, and ultimately the breakdown of relationships. What made Kevin's message so powerful was that it reflected the frustrations of millions of men around the world who felt overlooked by a society increasingly centered around women's needs and empowerment, particularly in context of relationships. And so these men saw themselves as being asked to meet impossible standards, often from women who were not meeting them halfway. And in many ways, Kevin gave voice to the concerns of these men by offering what seemed to them like much needed correction. He basically urged women to reassess their expectations and align them with more realistically with their own sexual marketplace value, and what they could offer in a relationship. So, and you see, he was rewarded. Every night, somebody would be sending Kevin $1,000, $100, $1,200, because he was speaking for the voiceless. And when you speak for the voiceless, when you say what the people want to say, but they can't say, damn it, they will reward you. And so now you just got dudes randomly on the internet trying to recreate that and make money like Kevin did. But remember, Kevin was the originator. He was the one that reached to that apex. He packaged it right. You see, and people have taken that format, basically confronting delusion women with the reality of their sexual marketplace value. And now they I told y'all when Kevin passed away, it's going to be people who are taking these same talking points that Kevin repackaged and took from the Black Manosphere, and they're not going to look like you. All right, they're going to be distant from the Black community. They're not going to have your same experiences. And that's what happened. And it's so unfortunate that so many Black people stepped out and had these horrible things to say about Kevin Samuels. And for a time, you know, folks wouldn't touch it. But, you know, I'm happy now and that I stood in the cut for the brother and I didn't let them destroy his reputation, because see, now, because of that lifeline I sent to his legacy, you know, it survived. Just enough of it survived. And so that my good brother's legacy lives on. And I appreciate him and all the other folks who contributed to that. Now, nevertheless, Kevin's message appealed to the broader dissatisfaction with the state of Western dating and marriage markets, where the dynamics have shifted significantly in the last few decades. And as gender roles become more fluid and women's economic and social independence grow, these traditional structures that supported marriage and long-term relationships started to fray. In other words, they don't need you anymore, okay? They don't need you anymore. So again, feminism is a first world problem. It is not a third world problem, okay? Women's empowerment is something that we talk about here in the United States. It ain't happening down in some of these South American and African countries where you got to walk 3 miles to get some water, right? It's necessary. We want some empowerment. You don't want your daughter out there getting abused by some hillbilly or some thug straight out of the projects. We need some gender equality, okay? But that has come with some unintended consequences, such as promoting unrealistic expectations of fostering the belief that women should never settle. Somebody type "never settle" in the chat room. And Kevin challenged the notion head on, and he called for rebalancing of expectations and a return to a relationship dynamic based on mutual understanding, compromise, and realistic self-assessment. So Kevin Samuels gained popularity because he filled the gap. Somebody type "fill the gap." He filled a gap in the modern discourse about relationships, shining a light on the unrealistic expectations many women have developed and the resulting dysfunction in the dating market. And his ability to package these talking points in a way that resonated with both men and women made him polarizing, right? Either you loved him or hated him, but highly influential. By addressing this growing societal need, Kevin was able to sell the Black Manosphere relationship discussions to the mainstream audience. And it reinforced the need for honesty, realism, and balance in the modern world. Now, how does that relate to what we're dealing with right now? Okay. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put the subscribers only up in here. I need to go ahead and put the subscribers only up in here. Y'all hit the #1 button. We're gonna be subscribers only for a minute. Y'all hit the #1 button. Let me know where all my subscribers at. We got somebody type subscribers only in the chat room, because we need to get these subscriptions up. Y'all make sure y'all show Uncle D some love by subscribing to the channel. This has been good. We keeping it hot. Okay. Let me get that populating right now. Bam. All right. So we're subscribers only at this point. Okay, we're subscribers only. We're gonna continue. We got more to do. We got more work to do. We are talking about the Black Manosphere politics now mainstream and why, or why now. Okay, so what you see happening right now, y'all with me? Hit the #1 button if you're with me, baby. Somebody type black men winning in the chat room. Where's my wrench mob at? Wrench mob members and subscribers only. Y'all the only one that can comment. This is the benefit. Membership has privileges. So the pushback against these anti-black male policies, right? From the Democratic Party. It's a predictable trend shaped by men themselves. I am talking about the climate. Just like we had a relationship climate that was anti-male, where women overvalued themselves, and Kevin Samuels emerged, right? I'm gonna give y'all some context, but roll with me on this. When the students are ready, the teacher will emerge, typically from amongst the people. When the students are ready, the teacher will emerge. Keep about that. It is the climate that creates the remedy. You understand? Hold that thought for a minute. So, look, I knew there was going to be a shift in black male political allegiance. I knew that. Many BGS knew it 10 years ago. You see? But see, the real drivers of this trend are the men who have lived through and reacted to the current societal conditions. It's not because I've got on the internet and I'm driving it. See, they want to blame these yahoos on the internet for what's going on. But that's not what it is. It doesn't, I can say what I want to say. It's the social conditions. Somebody type social conditions. The current social conditions which have given rise to black men's realignment with the political party or the conservative political party. It's not just political analysts. It's not just YouTubers. It's not just commenters who have shaped this movement. It's black men on the ground facing these family courts, facing this economic system that we're dealing with. The realities of today's policies, okay, and politics have set the stage for this change. The conditions that have emerged in society, this extreme anti-man, anti-black male, these anti-black male policies, as well as these harmful societal norms, they've given rise to a powerful need for resistance and realignment. And this is not just about abstract theories or isolated incidents. It's about the everyday experiences of men who feel marginalized by a system that doesn't seem to care about our concerns. See, one thing that must be understood is that just like in education, the role of the teacher is observed and reflect back what's happening in the world around them. And in this case, black men are the students who have been experiencing the shift in societal dynamics. The changes that we are witnessing are a direct response to these conditions. And men affected are the ones leading the charge towards this new political reality. See, as I said earlier, there's this old saying, there's this old adage that when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And this applies here. When the problem becomes evident, the solution emerges. In the same way the body creates antibodies to fight off a disease, black men have responded to the toxic social and political environment that we've been forced to navigate with a remedy. The rise in policies that seem designed to undermine traditional male roles, combined with societal norms that label masculinity as toxic, have created a need for pushback. Black men are increasingly voting Republican because they see the conservative platform as a response to this problem. It offers solutions that acknowledge our struggles and reaffirm our place in society. See, this political shift is not simply reactionary. It's not a reactionary move, but it's rather an adaptive response to the conditions at hand. Just as the body naturally develops these antigens to fight off harmful invaders, black men are rallying behind a party that promises a return to traditional values and a restoration of male leadership, and the policies that challenge the extreme measures put forth by these progressive liberals in this rainbow agenda. See, this is a natural evolution by the need to restore balance and address the harmful effects of policies that have marginalized men, particularly black men, for years. These black manosphere talking points are now in the political mainstream, and they're shaping the 2024 election. And this once niche idea of black manosphere is now entered into the political mainstream, and it's really changing how things are going. These talking points, which were initially confined to these online spaces. Somebody type dusty beta male in the chat room. Somebody type incel. You incels and dusty beta males, right? That's remember that. Somebody type incel in the chat room. See, that's what they call them. That's what they call us. Y'all crazy. They focus heavily on empowering black men and addressing the concerns about a society that has systematically sidelined us with its family court, the justice system, economic preference for men, hiring women over men, education system. But now this shift, this monumental shift, it now reflects a growing awareness of the issues black men face, particularly in relation to the Democratic Party and its alignment with these matriarchal values. At the core of the Black Manosphere's message is the belief that the Democratic Party is structured in a way that prioritizes the needs and rights of women over men. It's matriarchal. We recognize that. And this viewpoint is deeply rooted in observations of how the party approaches key areas. I done said it, I'm gonna say it again. Family court, education, finances, social influences. The family court, for instance, right? Most of us are dealing with that right now. Many of us ended up over here because of the family court system, being alienated for your children. Well, black men feel, and we know from our experience, that we have a disadvantage when it comes to custody battles and legal disputes. And hell, I'm over here, I start going on the internet because of some of that I was dealing with. And with the system favoring women, we know it to be true, even in the educational system. We know that boys, particularly black boys, are being neglected in favor of programs designed to uplift girls and women. And financially, the policies of the Democrat Party, number one, we can talk about welfare, but let's go ahead to the education. They'll give a black woman a scholarship to go to college, educate her. She gets out of school making more money. And so, in other words, when we look at the Democratic Party in the educational system, it's being geared more towards the empowerment of women, often at the expense of men. And it leaves us feeling disempowered in the society that we built and that we maintain. And so this societal shift has not gone unnoticed. The Black Manosphere knows and argues and suggests that the needs of men, especially men, especially black men, who've been systematically cast aside, and we need to make sure that we have a political agenda that's addressed. See, this dynamic has given the rise to an environment where many black men feel left behind, we're misunderstood, we're unfairly treated. The conditions within the black community itself, particularly the breakdown of traditional family structures and the emasculation of black men, that's fueled the rise of the Black Manosphere also. Whether it's your mama or your baby mama, it's all in there. It's all in your life, whether it's something you've had to deal with. That emasculation is the problem. And what you see, the Black Manosphere, is a response to a society that has undervalued the contributions of men and have marginalized our concerns. In other words, somebody type "walk it off" in the chat room. Take it like a man in the chat room. And see, now, as these Black Manosphere talking points gain traction, they are influencing national politics. The 2024 presidential race is a clear example of how these ideas have moved beyond the fringes into the political spotlight. And the candidates, particularly on the Republican side, are beginning to recognize the frustrations of black men. And really, black men are beginning to align and recognize that there's no loyalty coming from the Democrat Party, so they're aligning themselves with the Republican Party. Now, the mainstream of Black Manosphere talking points is not just about relationship dynamics. It's about reshaping how black men view our place in society and our role in politics. See, the 2024 election will be heavily influenced by this new wave of political thinking. And as black men become a key demographic whose voices and concerns are no longer ignored, well, hey, they got to deal with us. This rise of the Black Manosphere is giving black men a platform to speak out against societal norms that we feel are unjust and that have marginalized us. And now the platform is impacting high levels of political discourse. So Black men are increasingly rejecting the Democrat Party. And we're doing so in favor of more conservative ideas, a shift that's closely tied to our socioeconomic ascent. All right. What I'm saying is, as more Black men reach middle age and many achieve middle class status, bringing with it the natural shift in priorities that align more with conservative values. And this shift is not merely ideological, but is practical, as wealth accumulation often changes how people view political issues such as immigration, taxes, and government regulation. What I'm saying is, according to the statistics, 60% of Black men reach middle class, upper middle class, or they're rich by the time they hit middle age. So what does that mean? You become naturally more conservative. That's what's going on, brothers. The reason that you no longer are into ratchet ghetto behavior is because you got money now and you don't want to be around that. You see, that's why you're changing. It's the money. Somebody type money in the chat room. Speaking of which, I got 19 super chats and I need 20, and that'll be plenty. Somebody type money in the chat room. Again, one of the main reasons, and I can't walk away from this. Let me explain to you something. They did every damn thing they could to hold us down. We came up, and even oftentimes we didn't even have the help of our own Black sisters. But still, from the 1960s to 2024, we went from 60% of Black men in poverty to 60% of Black men haven't reached the middle class, upper middle class, or rich. What does that tell you about the tenacity of the Black man here in America? What does that tell you about how tough we are, how resilient we are as a group with no help? With literally with their boots on our neck, we still rise. I want you to think about that. Being hounded by the police, being ostracized. Many of you brothers were pushed to the back of the class or sent off to the little retarded classes. I shouldn't say retarded. Y'all sent to the special ed classes. You were made promises that nobody keep. Some of your home lives were terrible. Your mothers didn't treat you like they should. Half of you ain't been told that you're handsome. You've been called everything but the child of God by the people that's supposed to love you. Some of y'all didn't have your father. You didn't have good role models. And still, in the past 60 years, we have flipped the script and we have become, as many of us have now reached the middle class, upper middle class, or rich. That's amazing. That is an amazing accomplishment, brother. Somebody type amazing Black man in the chat room. That is amazing. Inside of 60 years, in 2 generations. That is amazing. Woo, brothers, you need to give yourself a hand. But again, as I said, one of the main reasons for this growing conservatism amongst Black men is our desire to protect our wealth and our assets that we work real hard to accumulate with no help. You see, as I said, with greater financial success comes a desire for stability and preservation of status quo. Like many who rise to the middle class, upper middle class, or rich, Black men are increasingly want policies to protect our economic interests, and that includes keeping taxes low to maximize our income, limiting government regulation, and to allow businesses and other investments to flourish, and controlling this damn immigration. We don't want competition, and we don't want to get robbed by. We don't want a competition for our jobs, and we don't want to get robbed by these Venezuelan migrants up here. That's what we don't want. And so these core conservative values are strongly represented in the Republican Party, which positions itself as a party of economic freedom and reduced government intervention. On top of that, the family values, you don't want these Rainbow Coalition folk raising your kids. You want your sons to have wives so you can have grandkids. That's what happens when you get older. Additionally, the brothers feel alienated by what we know to be this anti-Black male positioning and policies of the Democrat Party. For years, The Democratic Party is focused heavily on issues that affect women, particularly black women, at the expense of addressing the concerns of black men. We would just ignore it. Shout out to KJ, Black Man Politics. I'm here for it. I'm going to go ahead and give you a big shout out. Thank you so much for that 100 bone. But let's get back to it. So again, we're dealing with a Democrat Party that is that focuses heavily on women and ignores the heck out of black men. And this is evident in all the areas. How do you have a policy that gives a woman with children a place to live, but purposely tells you the man can't live here? How more anti-male can you get? I'm gonna give you food stamps, but the man that you can't be married. Nah, he got to be out. Think about that. At the height of equality and feminine equality, you still treating the man as if he has to have a cape on and be Superman, but you giving the woman the benefit. You giving her the tax dollars that mostly other men pay into the taxes. Think about that. Men were disadvantaged, even in custody battles right now. Educational policies that prioritize black girls over black boys. Black men know that the Democrat Party is more attuned with the needs of women and other marginalized groups. But you ask them to do something for a black man, oh no, not gonna happen. They do more for immigrants that just walked up here from at Eagle Pass than they do for black men who've been in this country for 400 years. See, these Democrat policies that promote these so-called progressive social change, they conflict with traditional values the middle class black men that we've embraced. Issues like defunding the police. Y'all know goddamn well you don't want to defund the police. And have them run up on you, them youngsters running up on you, them young bulls running up on you with them little pea shooters, taking you out your nice, big, beautiful BMW. You don't want that. You don't want to defund the damn police. You don't want them running up in your 3-story townhouse in the middle of DC. You don't want that. We want the police not to hit upside the goddamn head when we minding our business. Okay, we don't want that. That's what we want to avoid. We want you to do something about these racist cops. But we damn sure want some cops out there keeping these knuckleheads in line. I don't want to have to put hands on nobody my damn self. That's what I pay you for. Shit. Excuse my language. Sorry about that. My bad. We don't align with that. Just keep it 100. All right? We on the line with all these expanding the social welfare program. We do not want to keep paying taxes for somebody else to have their little EBT card. And we in the grocery store and they in the grocery store and they got a whole basket full of food. And then they whip out an EBT card. And I'm sitting back there with my little 20 items right there that cost $200-$300 because the price of food is skyrocketed. But they got an EBT card. They got a basket full of steaks and chicken and sausage and cereal. They got everything. Hell no. We don't want to expand that. So I'm paying for that. I got to pay 40% of my taxes. 30% of my income goes to that. Hell no. Another thing. So I'm just saying, fam. Defund the police. Most of us are not for that. Not us with common sense. All right, these expansion of these social welfare programs, knowing that people exploit that. Hell no, we not for that, especially now since the money's going to these doggone Venezuelan immigrants and everybody else. We don't want that. And we don't want more of these feminist policies that further alienate black men from black women. We don't want that. We want law and order. We want to protect what we've earned. We want to preserve family structures. That's what we want. So this Democratic push for these social programs and these reforms, oh no, that contradicts with our values, okay? Stuff that resonates with black men as we attain more wealth and success. You want to be able to pass your money down to your kids. You don't want a government that pushes your kids to become your son to become your daughter, do you? Not at all. So, again, the more the Democratic Party is seen by black men as having an agenda that undermines traditional male roles in society, policies that overly accommodate feminists and the alphabet movement, coupled with the rhetoric that labels masculinity as toxic and contributes to the growing sentiment. That's what contributes to how we feel, or our sentiment that we're under attack. And so brothers are looking for a political home that respects our contributions, that respects our role in the family, in the community, and in society, a broader society that aligns more closely with, and as we look at it, at this point, we align more closely with conservative values. So in essence, the combination of middle class status, economic interest, and the backlash against progressive social policies has driven Black men to reconsider their political allegiance. And as the Democrat Party continues to emphasize issues that men see as counterproductive or harmful to our interests, the Republican Party has become attractive. It's an attractive alternative. It offers policies that focus on individual success, wealth preservation, and the return to traditional male roles. And this political realignment is a significant factor in the broader conservative shift among Black men, marking a profound change. So yeah, we get it. They might be racist over there, but y'all racist over here too. And if you're not systematic racist, then you're full of systematic neglect. That's what the Democrat Party has given us. So anyway, look, fam, I want to take the opportunity before we get too deep down in the well to go ahead and give a shout out to everybody who contributed to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. Shout out to my man Fode Sanku. The GOP wants to expand immunity that cops already have. They want it total. Fode Sanku, today's GOP wants to give the police total immunity. Who else we got in here? Well, look, man, that's something that lawyers and judges are going to fix with lawsuits. What you want to do with those sort of things is, number one, make sure you are not one of the folks that gets caught up into that. In other words, 100% cooperate. First of all, don't be out there committing crimes. Because a real crook, a real criminal, they handle the police like an expert. They're not tripping. They've been to jail. You see what I mean? But what I don't want is honest citizens getting so emotional about being arrested by the police that they get caught up in something. Don't let your ego write a check that your ass can't keep. I was always told your job is to survive the encounter. You want to argue about your rights, man, argue about that in the courtroom between the hours of 9 and 5, not on the side of the road on a Saturday night when you done threw back a 6-pack. Just take the ride. We'll catch you on Monday morning. You see what I mean? Don't get caught. Don't lose your life having trying to check a cop who got nothing else to do but put something on you. You see what I mean? So don't get caught up into that. You don't want that cop to be a part of your life. Just go ahead and work through it. I've been in handcuffs myself, and this is back in 1994. You can Google it. It says Houston attorney arrested in front of my law office. I'm like, yes, I ain't even tell them I was a lawyer. They put me in handcuffs. They let me out on a Friday. Monday morning, I filed a civil rights lawsuit against them. It was all over the news. That's how you deal with that. You want to survive the encounter. So we'll deal with that another day. But shout out to Maurice Martin, and thank you so much, Fade Stanko. Thank you, brother, for using your voice to speak on behalf of Black men. Tell Kamala she can keep her weed. But yeah, I ain't talk about that. And big shout out to my man, KJ. Black Men in Politics, I'm here for. Thank you so much, fam. I appreciate you, man. You did great. You got that 100. All right. Shout out to who else we got here? Dale Simlin, thank you so much for child support is the new probation program. Damn, right? Got the system, got the hands on you with that. Anyway, Timothy Humphrey, thank you for the $5 super chat. Chad, Tyrone, 7th Day, thank you so much. Pilot Jace, thank you. Humble Introvert, big shout out to Barry Little. Salute to Black men. Thank you so much, fam. Age of Machines says, excellent breakdown, cathartic to hear more so since I've acted on information given removes. Let me see. Excellent breakdown, cathartic to hear more so since I've acted on the information given. Removes a huge mental and spiritual burden. Okay, no problem, man. I think you meant mental. Big shout out to your excellence. To all my service members, military compensation will increase in 2025 with a projected 4.5% raise for troops ranked E4 and above, and 5.5 for enlisted members ranked E3 and below. File your claims and get what you know. But that's a public service now. A big shout out to you, Animal Advocate. Thank you so much, little sister. Thank you so much, Animal Advocate. I appreciate your membership. You're going to get some good stuff. 414 Moni, Keisha's days as a white supremacist tool and number. Yeah, we tired of Keisha, man. I'm tired of ghetto Keisha. We need some Keisha. We need some good positive Keishas. But, oh, you talking about Keisha Lance Bottoms. That's her name. That's what you talking about. Yeah. Yeah, man, these folks are getting the blues, man. They didn't see this coming. We saw it coming. Shout out to Simon Moore. Praise you, Mr. Spurling, for your wisdom. All praises go to the Most High, brother. Shout out to Ray Shard Smith, SYSM. Salute to the Blizzard King, Professor Black Truth, Minister Jap, Flex Nashi for keeping us informed. Big shout out to you. Thank you so much. Rich Turner, them type of old ninjas got to go. They pretty much sold us and their families out in the worst way. Yeah, man, them old players. He's talking about a little video that I put on earlier in the middle of the broadcast. Yeah, man, get on up out of here with them old players. Cut that out. My man Steph Camp, I'll be proudly voting for Trump for the third time. I was done with the Democrat Party after Obama, tired of woke policies and illegal immigration. Hashtag Trump 2024. Ain't that the truth? Shout out to D Payne, Thoughts and Opinions. 2024 is the rise of black men. Yeah, man. Somebody type black men winning in the chat room. Also, HVAC Man 23. As a young man, 26, I have the voice of a lion when TMH commands the Most High. It speaks up, brothers. Quit being scared. Yeah, man. Y'all stop being scared. All you had to do was stand up and you did. Lateral Richard, big shout out to you. Thank you so much, fam. Also, One Mike KS woke black men up. If he was still alive, the left would be attacking him like they do Trump, but him being gone, rest in peace, makes his impact immortal. I predicted last year black men and black women would split politically. Yeah, man, it's been a long time coming. Ali Star Fennell, black men are winning. Somebody type black men winning in the chat room. Also, Ray, there was another interview where a woman said black men are not the problem. They're just being used. They're used to being under a matriarchy. Ain't that something? Yeah, it's true. That's what they think. And then you got old crying man Van out there talking about we needed a love letter. If you don't sit yourself down somewhere, I'm gonna have to talk about that. Viva la patriarchy. You have good big shout out to you, Herb saying thank you so much. My man Rich Turner again. I knew when they celebrated Kevin's passing that it would galvanize many to the effect an entire election proves he was officially reached martyr status in this space. Yeah, man, he has, man. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much, Rich Turner. And also, there I said it, the word is out. Black men are no longer mute. Carry on, Counselor. Thank you so much, fam. And we had somebody come in at the last minute. Big shout out to Caesar's Palace. Money. Yeah, baby. Somebody type money in the chat room. Big shout out to all my guys who came through on the Cash App. And let me give a big shout out to everybody who came through on the Super Chat, man. I did that already, but big shout out to everybody who came through on the Cash App. My man Mike, big shout out to Ramon, shout out to Russell, shout out to Jedi Said, and big shout out to Mark the Freelancer. So anyway, fam, guys, look, for over 60 years, okay, for 60 years, the Democratic Party has fed off division in our community. It's driven wedges between black men and black women. You've uplifted black women, praised their strength, pushed them into leadership roles, all the while systematically denigrating and marginalizing black men. You Democrats, you pitted us against each other. That's what you did. That's what you did. You pitted us against each other in your pursuit of power. And this manipulation has been your strategy, basically keeping us divided, it weakening our families and ensuring that we remain easy to control. Now, you praise black women while telling black men we are not needed. You support policies that strip us of our roles as fathers, as husbands, as leaders. And now, you surprised? See, in your eyes, the only useful black man is one who submits, the one who carries your flag without question. Meanwhile, you shame those of us who dare to stand tall, who dare to call out your blatant disregard for our rights and our dignity. Decades you enacted policies that protect the interests of black women while throwing black men to the wolves. In family court, in education, and employment, you've tilted the scales, ensuring that black men remain stuck at the bottom, left to fend for ourselves. You've profited from our pain, kept us fractured and stifled our progress, all the while claiming to be the party of equality and justice. Well, we see you now. Your time is up. We won't be divided any longer. The very foundation of your power is crumbling as black men and black women are waking up to your lies and your manipulations. No more will you use us and our people as pawns in your game, driving a wedge between black men and black women, between brothers and sisters, between family for your political gain. We're reclaiming our families, our communities, and our futures, and we're going to do it without you. Somebody type black men winning in the chat room. This is Uncle D. I'm out.
Dennis Spurling Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.